You are listening to the Life Coach Podcast with Susan Barlin, 7 Stages of Love.
Hi, this is Susan Barlin, your life coach here on Life Talk. Because of popular requests, I have to do this in English, and I did the first version in Tagalog. So I apologize for the others who did not understand or who could not understand my native tongue. So here I am going to spill it all out in English. Anyway, this is indeed a very, very interesting topic because it's the sweetest word in the dictionary. Love, love, magical. I think it is the most beautiful experience that we can have or in a lifetime. And I believe in love. I'm a hopeless romantic. So, of course, based on experience and also observation, studying, and, just curious about anything or everything about love, one of the most interesting study or that I have come across is that every love story goes through stages. You can read some books or about 10 stages of love, 8 stages of love, but I really believe in the 7 stages of love. And after listening, you could tell me if it is true. Like what I've said, love is so magical. It can turn your world upside down. It can turn your life from being black and white into a colorful world. And when I talk about love, we'll be referring to is the love between a man and a woman, or a woman and a man, or a romantic love. So I actually think that, if roses are red and violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so is love. It's not very simple. It's very complicated. It's not a science. It makes people do crazy things. Makes you become a poet. It makes you sing a song. And, you can just see your eyes dilating and your hands and palms sweating, and you blush, your cheeks are blushing. And not to mention, of course, butterflies in your stomach, right? So it makes us do foolish behavior that we don't usually do. It makes us bring out words we don't usually say. It makes us look funny, sound funny. But hey, that's what love is, right? Sometimes they say that Cupid had struck you, or, wow, we have a very strong chemistry. And love is not a thing. It's not an object. It's not a possession. It is a feeling, and a very strong feeling. It's not something that you mess around or joke with. So it makes our heart thump when we fall in love, right? It's simply magical. And now let's find out why, in spite of all this, why do people fall apart, break up, and while others can stay until the end, and celebrate their golden anniversary and till death do us part. So let me walk you through the 7 stages of love, and I'm sure you will agree on what really happens, and why people part ways, and why couples stay together forever and have a fairy tale love story. Guys, as years pass by or goes by, love becomes more complicated, and it becomes more confusing. We all know that without love, life is not as meaningful. It's not as colorful. But what makes it harder nowadays? Well, nowadays, There are so much pressure around us. There are so many challenges, so many comparisons, movies, telenovelas, Sometimes it's so funny because we watch a movie wherein this couple parted ways, and we have already put that into our brain, and we are brainwashed that, hey, that guy's behavior is like my boyfriend or my husband, so they parted ways, and so we are going to part ways as well. And arguments are easier. Patience is getting shorter, right? Not as much. People are not as patient as before. Their values are not as deep as before, where we believe that when you marry someone, it's like that's it. You'll work everything out because there's no plan B. Now with divorce and annulment, 1 out of 3 of our friends are did not make it, or many are belongs to a broken family. That it's not a taboo anymore to break a vow. So also with our technology, where it's just like, okay, text messages instead of those written love notes. Nobody does that anymore. It's just like text messages. And of course insecurities. So relationships are harder now than ever. And with this pandemic, people are staying more together because almost everybody's working from home. So sometimes, it's like, gee, too much time together. Is that bad or is that good? Let's find out. Okay. So it's sad, but it's true. But guys, if you have something that's worth it, please don't take it for granted. Fight for it, and don't let it go. Okay. So, why number seven? Why seven? Seven stages. For me, seven is a number of God's perfection and creation. So, actually in the Bible, the number seven or seven has been mentioned about what, 700 times, and even 50 times in Revelation, right? So, God created the world in 7 days, right? Four is the element of the earth. We're in earth, air, fire, and water. And then three is the Holy Trinity. That's 4 plus 3 equals 7, complete, right? Anyway, so that's just like, I think there's some magic into this seven. So, guys, before I continue, of course, I hope that you will like, subscribe, and don't forget to share it with your friends, okay? So, what is the first stage? So, let's start with the first stage. The first stage is the beginning, of course. That's where it all started. That's the attraction stage, guys. It is when we get to meet someone, whether a glimpse or introduction, and then we get attracted to the person. There's some sort of adoration. We got love struck. Then there's something that sparks, and then instant attraction happens. Love is like a fire. It is hard to ignite but impossible to quench, right? So this attraction stage, guys, may be something physical. Maybe their eyes, their lips, their hair, or maybe the person reminds us of someone that is very important in our life. And then they're like, oh, gee, she looks like this. And then there's an automatic physical attraction. The other hand, it could also be intellectual. Like me, I love intelligent man. I fall for intelligence, wherein you would just be amazed on how the person thinks, how her or his credentials. One of the biggest sex appeal is like power, right? And because of the accomplishment, not because of the title, but or maybe it's a status. Like they say, men in uniform are very sexy, right? Very attractive. And sometimes it's the jokes, or philosophies, or like their values. Those are the things that gets us attracted to another. So, and I'm sure you can relate. Remember how you got attracted to your loved one right now, or how you usually get attracted, and you will understand that and you will agree that this is the beginning of it all. Now, usually when we get attracted, we don't think. We just don't think. And we just take all the other things for granted or not in consideration. We're just attracted, period. We're attracted, not using our brain, right? And not looking at the whole picture. So we're just so focused on the thing that got us attracted to the person. Why does that happen? Do you know, guys, that happens because actually the attraction to that something is just a result because you are missing that from in your life or with your current relationship, and you've never met somebody like that. So there is some emptiness that is actually in your life right now. You have a missing piece, and you feel that this person fits perfect for the missing piece or vacuum that you have right now in your life. You feel that the new person deserves your love. Then you start feeling strange. And you also feel that this is the person you've been waiting for, that she is or he is the answer to your prayers. Okay? And it's like very dangerous because this is where we always have to think better. We have to be cautious on who we are going to be attracted to. Okay, always look at the big picture. Now, the next piece would be our next stage, the insanity. So, the infatuation stage. Okay, so after being attracted to that person, and we're just focused on that attraction, on that something that attracted us, got us attracted to the person, we then go to the second stage because we did not think better. So we go to the second stage. And that is where this stage is very intense. We just let our emotion rule us. It's like an infatuation, and usually this is short lived. This is the period where people will do crazy things. Then, because you entertain that attraction, you gave it a chance, you gave it time, and without thinking, you're just carried away by that attraction. So you go insane and it goes bigger. And here on this stage, guys, there is no right or wrong because you won't think. You're not using your brain. It's not that there is no right or wrong. You simply are out of your mind. Okay? That's why many times our best friends or our parents will say, "You're out of your mind. Why are you attracted to this person? He is not good." He is not. But that's where the drug of love travels slow, but you know, it becomes lethal, okay? Or not verbatim lethal, but it just goes out of hand. We get deeper. So, many people would love to be in this stage, okay? So, this is where you feel obsessed. Common sense crumbles. There's no common sense. Logic is forgotten, guys. All you have is that magical feeling. You have no self control. You even refuse to. You don't give it a chance. It's not, it's inexplicable. It's so bewildering, unreasonable. This is where in Tagalog we say, di na makatulog, di na makakain. And you know what, guys? No matter where this love story ends, good or bad, this is the stage that we will never forget. We will always remember someone that we used to love or someone that we still love on this stage. This stage is the most precious because it's just so beautiful. So, and actually, it's insanity. Insanity is like knowing that what you're doing is completely childish or unrealistic, but still somehow you can't stop it. You won't stop. So after this magical insanity stage, the unforgettable insanity stage, we now go to the third stage, the illusion, the dreaming stage. This is where, guys, we're going to start seeing and noticing and start thinking a little bit and applying some thoughts that there are some red flags. Turns his phone off when he's with me. And then, you say, wow, why is that? Or sometimes you would see some messages, or you would see that, oh my gosh, when he drinks, he gets out of hand. And when you go out in a restaurant, he would not offer to pay. And so these are the time where there is some turn offs. Oh my gosh, why are you doing that? You turned me off. So, but still, although you're starting to experience some disappointments, and then, of course, not to mention that you can see some signs that are familiar to you because of your past relationships, and that, I think, reality check. I think I see something I don't like. And yet, because you are so fresh from the insanity stage where you are so obsessed, there's no common sense and everything is like cloud nine, you would still ignore the little red flags that you see because you're so fresh from that insanity stage. Okay, so it's like you're starting to tell yourself, oh my gosh, am I seeing the same bad stuff that I saw before? I think what they're saying is right. So arguments are going to start creeping in. There will be some are not only arguments, so you will experience some fights in this stage. You will have even breakups, and says, look, I don't like this, I refuse. I still, you continue. Why? Because now you go to the fourth stage because you really did not go rational again. Okay, you blinded yourself again. So the fourth stage is going now into the promise, the love stage. So if you were the one wrong, or she is the one, or he is the one who had been showing bad signs, what he will do is give you promises, promise you heaven and earth, promise you that, look, you are wrong. I am not that guy. I'm sorry. It's just an error. I'm not really talking to my ex. Look, I will be better. I will never do that again. I will never hurt you. I am the man for you. I'm the woman for you. Nobody will love you the way I love you. So, this is where promises, promises, promises. But as a reminder, please don't promise anything you cannot fulfill, because those big promises that you're going to do just to make sure that you don't lose not the person you love are going to haunt you, and it's going to boomerang on you. So be careful on your promises. And now the person who had been promised will now confirm, yes, I want to go through this. I love him. He promised me this. He promised me that. You're going to count and rely on those promises. Okay. So love now flourishes, and that's it. You're in love. Okay. Because now you have a combination of the like the honeymoon stage or the attraction and the fantasy stage, and then you had some fights, you broke up, you got back again, short breakups, big arguments sometimes, and promises. So you just make up your mind, you're relying on his promise or her promise. Okay, so you become constantly instantaneously secured again, and now you become unconditionally giving yourself and your heart without really thinking things through thoroughly. We see everything beautiful again about the relationship, and we just forget the rationale. Okay, what happens after this is a different story, guys, because on the fifth stage, this is where the truth and reality comes on the surface. So you suddenly realize that the person you love has been telling you lies, has because he or she is going to continuously do what you have observed on stage 3, those disappointments and disillusions. And now you understand, she he is not the person that I really thought. And then not only that, on the fifth stage, this would probably make you where you are seeing each other a lot already, or maybe you are even living together already, or even probably married already. So, familiarity, the curtains has been unveiled, and the walls had been broken down. You know everything about the person. You or boredom creeps in also because of routine, if you were married or you are already living together or married. So you can see that, oh, they like to drink every night, or the slapping or the physical abuse happens more often now, and it is really a character. The character comes out, what they're irresponsible, they are selfish, they lie. Worse is if they are a pathological liar, wherein they would lie about anything even if they don't have to lie about it. So you start being sick of each other, and you start getting bored, and you start being annoyed, annoyed with the person. Okay, especially when you're already married and bills come in to pay, the other person doesn't care, and it's a one-way traffic instead of a two-way traffic. No give and take, it's only take. The foundation is not really good because you are with the wrong partner. Okay, or of course, guys, you have to understand that there's nobody perfect in this world. If what you discovered are minor differences and not major, and really nothing to do about the person being bad, and of bad moral character, or then you should not make a big deal out of it. It takes communication. You have to communicate, you have to talk to each other, you have to understand each other, especially it's best to understand the underlying truth. What makes him do that? What makes her do that? What's the reason behind why she did or he did what you did not like or what you discovered? Because not understanding it and just looking at the surface could be something that is not even worth the fight, but instead, probably it's your turn to show that you really are their best friend, or you know the one who loves them the most, because a person who loves someone is the last one who will judge, and it's the first one who will defend or understand. So, but usually because of this boredom, familiarity, frustration, then both of you feel trapped inside, especially when you're married. And it's that, especially when you love somebody because they are a good provider, or they are strong, and there is a reason. That's why I don't believe that when you love someone, you have to say, I love you because you are a great provider, or because you're a general, or there's something like that, right? Because then, you know if they stop being able to provide, or they lost that something that you fell in love with, then it could diminish or threaten the love. And you will start, even to the point where you will start hating them. So when you love someone, you have to love them for who they are, and including their differences. You have to learn to respect the differences and celebrate your similarities, okay? Because you can never create an image of your ideal person on another person, because they're not. No, you can't change them. And you have to know that, he or she will never be Mr. Perfect or Miss Perfect. So in love, guys, there's no perfect partner, and there's no perfect partner. There are only wrong partnerships, okay? So stop creating or demanding an image of a person you have in your mind, that you should be like this. I want a man who will provide for me, who I want a man who is this, who is that. No, you cannot do that when you are in if you want to have a long lasting love relationship, okay? So stop expecting things, and stop expecting that they will stay the same, okay? Because they will not, we will not, okay? So because you have seen the reality, you are frustrated, you become bored, you start hating them, and you're not being fair, because you're expecting your relationship to always be on the romantic infatuation, intense uh, stage, which is not realistic. Then you go on the sixth stage, which is the resistance. So if you were not thinking thoroughly when you start getting attracted to a person, and you did not look at the big picture, and you went up to your sixth stage, it's very sad, because your expectation probably is so far from reality, you know, and you're being unfair. We're being unfair, wherein we want them to be the mirror, the image of a woman or a man that we think would be a perfect partner, or loved one. So here you will think, yeah, dreams ended, promises have evaporated, this relationship is so strained, and frustrations, lot of frustration, a lot of like being annoyed with each other. Just every move of the other person annoys you. Every person other, then you start looking outside, because you're looking from her or from him something that he doesn't have. So when you see it with the other another person, you become vulnerable. So it's sad, isn't that sad? And here on the sixth stage, where resistance creeps in, hurts, pains, we say words that we don't even mean, just to hurt the other person. Our ego, our pride, you know plays major role. No, you change before I change. No, you do this before I do that. You stay in the house, and if you want me to support you, all these conditions, they are all love killers. Love killers, because you don't impose on anyone. You love somebody because you love them. You don't want them like, don't change the color of your hair for me, right? That kind of thing. Very sad on the sixth stage. This is where people breaks up. This is where people drift apart. This is where you want to say you love them, you miss them, you're sorry, but you're only thinking about you. Entitlement. So resistance, the sixth stage, is actually where mostly the death of a relationship happens if their love is not really that great. If the love is not strong and it is weak, it dies on the sixth stage. Okay? But if their love was founded on a strong foundation, if their love for each other is really very strong, and there is no reason, no ifs, no buts, then, you can go to the seventh stage, which is the final stage. But if, again, I would like to emphasize, nobody, no relationship that is built on a very weak foundation would survive the sixth stage. It ends here. That's why, and who will you blame? You can only blame, or we can only blame ourselves, because we should have thought better on the earlier stage and look at the big picture. Are the important things to us there? I mean, are the important factors that we cannot compromise with are there, so we can survive? Because who wants a short-lived relationship? Everybody wants a love story that will last forever. We're in, even if you have wrinkles and you have gained 30 pounds, and still, the way that you both look at each other are going to be like you are both with adoration, with so much passion. The passion's still there. My mother used to tell me that, Susan, when your feet touches the feet of your loved one, and you still feel that chemistry, that electricity, that is real love. Once that is gone, it's over. And why is it gone? It's easy. There are so many reasons why we can hate a person, why we can be annoyed with a person, why we can be tempted to look at another. Because we don't really love probably the person. We did not really love them. You understand. So I hope it makes sense to you. So now, for those with a very strong foundation, they can go to the seventh stage. This is the graduation stage. Remember, the first stage is like being in grade one, second stage is in second grade, third grade, and then, that kind of thing. So you cannot skip one stage. Each stage you have to pass, and then you go to the next. You either pass, or you cheated yourself, or you fooled yourself. That's why you went on the next stage. So now here is the final stage. On this stage, when you reach this stage, this is the stage where many couples have stayed till death. Only death parted them. Okay? This is the acceptance stage. When love is strong, when love is solid, when love is really, really there, true love, no matter what flaws they are, unless of course they are like, let's say they are, doing drugs, they are, physically abusive. There are some faults and flaws that we should not compromise. You give them a chance to change, but you can only do that so much. And after that, it's time for you to give up, right? So on the acceptance stage, you're honest with yourself. You know that, okay, he is this way, he is lazy, he is is selfish, and maybe he doesn't clean the house, he doesn't help you in the house, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that, he doesn't send you flowers, he doesn't buy you gifts. And you said, okay, I accept it, it's no big deal, you just laugh it off. So honesty, acceptance, it's very important. And this does not come without any sacrifice, because you would have to give up some of the wishes that you would want to you wish you would find on a person, but you won't get it because you have accepted already. You're honest to yourself. No, I'm not going to change him, he is not thoughtful, but that's the way he is. It doesn't diminish my love for him. Guys, love has a price that we need, that has love has a price, okay? And we need to pay that every minute of the day. But it is the most worthy sacrifice. Imagine if you could keep that love going and burning every day. Wow, life can be very beautiful. So, we all want to be loved and be loved. But for me, it's easy to be loved. Many people would love you, fall in love with you, but to find someone that you can love is so magical. It's the best feeling, that we can have. And more so if the person we love us also. But guys, it must be unconditional. Of course, I told you there are boundaries, but believe me, it has to be unconditional. No ifs and buts. Love is not, yeah, I love you if you do this, or I love you because you're doing that. Love is, I love you anyway, even though, and in spite of you not sending me flowers. Okay? So, and remember, guys, that through the years, we all change. Probably you were strong once, and now your body is weaker. So, if you love someone, you know that change is inevitable. You allow them to change. Nobody's going to be strong forever. Nobody is going through all the years wherein they will always be making money or have a job. Maybe there will be times when your loved one will not have a job or will be going through some depression or challenging times, and you should be the one there for them, right? So I always say that I don't want someone who sees the good about me. I want someone who sees the bad and still loves me. Because, to love the good part of me, anybody can love me. But for someone to love even my flaws, that's really beautiful. So, guys, acceptance is one important manifestation of love, okay? So, you have to learn to accept the differences, and celebrate your similarities. Definitely, definitely. You have to agree to disagree. Don't expect that every minute of the day, every day, most of the time, your loved one will agree with you. You have to agree to disagree. And during those times when there will be fights, of course, there will be arguments. Don't ever sleep without resolving those arguments. And always think of the bottom line. Hey, this is the person I love. I love this man. I love this woman. So, why am I making, even if you have to be the one to say sorry, you say, okay, just embrace the person and say, come on, let's go to bed. Enough. And after all, it's not greener on the other side. It's better to deal with the devil you know than the devil you still have to know. But of course, only if the love is strong enough. Okay? Because in the next relationship, guys, you're back to square one. You have to go through all these stages again. You know? So, again, it is not our differences that divide us, it is our inability to recognize accept and celebrate those differences. So once you can do that, you bet the chance that you will live happily ever after and your love affair will be for keeps is higher and better. Okay, so be kind to one another. Okay, so always shower them with the ego of your man. And for men, don't ever forget to always praise and express your adoration for your woman, because those are water for their hearts, their soul, and their securities. Okay, don't let a day pass by without saying I love you, you know, and doing some tokens of kindness and thoughtfulness. Okay, guys, I hope that you were able to pick up some lessons or some reminders that you could use so that you can have a beautiful love story. Love is beautiful, so stay in love, guys. This is Susan Barlin, your life coach on Life Talk. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends. Please stay in love. Okay, don't forget, love like you've never been hurt before. And when you love, give it all, give it your all. No ifs and buts, and no boundaries. No, don't be reserving your showing of affection. Just show it all. After all, especially these times, there's so much more in uncertainties in life right now. You never know if tomorrow your loved one is gone. So I love you guys. Okay, see you next topic. It will be a nice topic, so please tune in. Bye.